At 13 years old, Mike Tyson was already a criminal. Not because he wanted to be, but because life gave him no other option. He grew up in Brooklyn, New York, a place where survival mattered more than dreams. There was no safety, no structure, no guidance. Mike didn't grow up thinking about success. He grew up thinking about survival. His childhood was chaos. His father wasn't around. His mother struggled to raise him, and the streets raised him instead. By the time he was a kid, Mike Tyson had already been arrested multiple times. Fighting, stealing, running, that was his life. He wasn't afraid of anything, because when you grow up with nothing, you don't fear losing anything. But behind that aggression was something deeper, pain. Mike Tyson was bullied as a child. Yes, the same man who would become the most feared fighter in history was once a victim. Kids picked on him, beat him, took advantage of him, and something changed inside him. One moment, one incident, changed everything. Someone hurt one of his pigeons, a bird he cared about. And in that moment, Mike Tyson snapped. That was the first time he fought back. Not just physically, but mentally. That day, a fighter was born. From that point forward, Mike Tyson wasn't a victim anymore. He became the threat. But being dangerous in the streets doesn't give you a future, it only gives you a reputation, and Mike Tyson's future was heading toward destruction until one man changed everything. Kes D'Amato, a boxing trainer, but more importantly, a mentor. Kes didn't just see a troubled kid, he saw potential. He saw something raw, something powerful, something rare. And he made a decision. He took Mike Tyson in, not just as a fighter, but as a son. For the first time in his life, Mike had structure, rules, discipline, purpose. Kes taught him more than boxing. He taught him psychology, confidence, control. He told Mike something that would stay with him forever. Fear is your best friend, if you learn how to control it. And Mike listened. Training became his life. Early mornings, long sessions, endless repetition. While others rested, Mike worked. While others stopped, Mike continued. He wasn't just training to win, he was training to dominate. Kes built him differently, not just physically, but mentally. Mike Tyson didn't just want to beat opponents. He wanted to destroy them. And slowly, the world started noticing. Knockouts. Fast. Brutal. Unstoppable. Mike Tyson wasn't just winning. He was terrifying people. Opponents were scared before the fight even started. That's power. Real power. At just 20 years old, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Think about that. From a kid getting arrested on the streets to the most dangerous man in boxing in just a few years. It wasn't normal. It wasn't expected. It was domination. Fight after fight, Mike Tyson destroyed opponents. First round knockouts, second round finishes. No one could stop him. He became a global icon. Money, fame, power, everything he never had. Now he had. But here's the problem. Success came too fast. And when success comes too fast, it becomes dangerous. Because Mike Tyson wasn't prepared for it. He had discipline because of Kes. But when Kes D'Amato passed away, everything changed. Mike lost more than a trainer. He lost his foundation. And slowly, things started falling apart. Distractions, bad influences, poor decisions. The discipline that built him started fading. The same mindset that made him unstoppable started slipping. And the world began to see something different. Not the unstoppable champion, but a man losing control. Mike Tyson still had power, still had talent, but something was missing. Focus. And without focus, even the strongest fall. After Kes D'Amato died, Mike Tyson wasn't the same. The man who gave him discipline was gone, and without that guidance, everything started to change. At first, it wasn't obvious. Mike was still winning, still knocking people out, still dominating. But behind the scenes, things were breaking. The structure that built him was gone, and in its place came chaos. New people entered his life, not mentors, not guides, but opportunists. People who saw Mike Tyson not as a person, but as money. And slowly, his world became louder, more distracting, more dangerous. Late nights, bad decisions, poor habits. The discipline that once defined him started disappearing. And when discipline disappears, so does control. Mike Tyson was still the most feared man in boxing, but mentally, he was drifting. Then came one of the most shocking moments in sports history. Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. No one expected a real fight. Douglas was seen as an easy win, a formality, but something was different that night. Mike wasn't prepared, not mentally, not physically, and for the first time in his career, he looked human, slow, unfocused, vulnerable. And then it happened. Mike Tyson got knocked out. The most feared man in the world was defeated. It wasn't just a loss. It was a collapse, because everything people believed about Mike Tyson shattered in that moment. Invincibility, gone. Fear, gone. Control, gone. And that loss was just the beginning. What followed was darker. Much darker. Mike Tyson's life spiraled. Legal trouble, controversy, prison. At the peak of his career, at the peak of his fame, he lost everything. Freedom, reputation, respect. The same man who once stood on top of the world was now at his lowest point. And this time there was no kais, no guidance, no structure, just silence and consequences. Prison changed him. It forced him to think, to reflect, to face himself. But even after he came back, things weren't the same. He returned to boxing, still powerful, still dangerous. But the mindset was different. The discipline wasn't the same. And then came another moment the world would never forget. The fight against Evander Holyfield. Frustration, anger, loss of control, and then the bite. A moment that shocked the world. Not because of the action itself, but because it showed something deeper. Mike Tyson had lost control, completely. That moment defined him for years. Not as a champion, but as chaos. And from there, everything declined. Losses, financial problems, personal struggles. Mike Tyson went from being one of the richest athletes in the world to bankruptcy, from global icon to cautionary tale. And at that point, it looked like the story was over. But here's what makes Mike Tyson different. He didn't disappear. He didn't stay broken. He changed. Slowly, painfully, but genuinely. He began rebuilding himself. Not as a fighter, but as a person. Mike Tyson started speaking openly about his past, about his mistakes, about his pain. For the first time, people saw a different side of him. Not the monster, but the man. And that's when everything shifted, because Mike Tyson's story was never just about boxing. It was about control, losing it, and finding it again. Today, he's not remembered just as the most feared fighter, but as one of the most complex. A man who had everything, lost everything, and still found a way to rebuild. Because real strength isn't just about power, it's about recovery. It's about facing yourself when everything falls apart. Mike Tyson's story proves something powerful. Talent can take you to the top, but without discipline, you won't stay there. And without self-control, you can lose everything. But even then, it's not the end, because as long as you're alive, you can rebuild. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, and comment who you want next. Welcome to Victory Grid, where we tell the stories behind greatness.